Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this much awaited webinar on AI in sales. We'll be specifically focusing on the topics: will AI replace humans in sales? And we'll be delving into a few other related topics as well. I welcome our two speakers, the co-founders of Good Meetings, Srini and Alok. I request them to maybe just give a quick intro and then we can quickly get started. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Murli. Hi, everyone. My name is Srinivasan Narayan. I am the co-founder and CEO of the Good Meetings platform. Prior to Good Meetings, I actually ran a social networking startup called Cohort Plus, which was acquired by Upgrad, and our app became the main app of Upgrad on the Play Store and App Store. I was working with the leadership team at Upgrad, and that's where I actually got this idea of Good Meetings. I before that I used to work for a financial software firm based out of the Silicon Valley called Intuit. I'm an NIT Surathkal engineering graduate, and after that I did my MBA from the Indian School of Business ISB.
Hi everyone, I am Alok. I am the CTO of Good Meetings and I joined hand with Srini. I have been, running startups since the last 10 years. I sold one of my previous startups called Reality Compass to Quicker. I built the product Quicker Homes. I have a particular interest in video analytics. I've been working on it even before AI was cool since 2013. Yeah, so there are a lot of things going around with video and AI today, and today the whole ecosystem has evolved into the software industry itself being called as the AI industry. So I'm pretty much excited to see all the potential that it has. So we'll talk about it and really excited for the session. Over to you, Mali.
I think today's topic is really very interesting, and the reason is that ever since Gen AI came into our lives, we have seen massive changes in the way everything is done, including sales, right? uh, we were at a position where certain pieces of sales workforce were automated before the whole Gen AI revolution. And then Gen AI came, and we first saw co-pilots coming in and further automating a lot of sales workflows. And then, I think earlier this year, uh, I think the whole concept of agents came in, where two things happened. One is fairly complex workflows uh, were actually getting automated pretty easily. And more importantly, multiple tasks could be threaded together such that, the output of one task could become the input for the other task. And all of this could have been taken care of by agents. So that's where actually, the whole intelligence layer has moved. And that is why, we are actually, starting at a situation where AI can definitely, kind of append the way sales has been done till date. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that we are going to cover, but I just wanted to, kind of give you the whole or set the whole, I would say, base on which this entire discussion would be built. Alok, any thoughts?
Yeah, of course. I think the tools that we have been used to, particularly the SaaS tools, they have undergone a massive change. Now we are being, built like Salesforce has launched Agentforce, which charges per conversion rather than on a per user basis. So things are really shaping up really fast. I mean, things are changing every 6 months, so it's really hard to keep track. So that's why we thought, why don't we put together all the good things that AI has enabled for the sales teams. So we'll discuss about it in greater detail today. Yeah.
Evolution of sales. Now, this is one of my favorite slides. The reason is, in many ways, it also kind of exposes my age. The reason is, each of this evolution is something I have seen from very close quarters. I think folks here who are 90s kids would remember that, especially in India, you would have the guys from Eureka Forbes or guys from Britannica Encyclopedia knock your door and try to sell that product. In fact, the entire, I would say, business and the GTM motion of Eureka Forbes was built on door-to-door sales, which was quite a success at that point in time, right? Then we actually evolved to yellow pages or pink slips where people would take, kind of note of whatever was being bought on pick slips, and that used to be like the entire repository of your, sales as well as revenue, right? And then I think in late 90s, mid 2000s, the whole internet era beckoned, and it actually, kind of grew by, 2008, 2009, 2010. It was around this time that we actually saw the advent of the first version of, internet gargantuan apps like Just Dial, right? Which basically, kind of collated all the information of all the shops nearby that you could then use to, kind of do any kind of transaction and thereby help that particular, you know that particular shop to increase their sales, right? Today if you look back, I think Just Dial seems to be of a different era, right? And that's precisely because then there were other technological evolutions that have happened. There is big data that happened, other high tech evolutions happened, and today AI basically threatens to upend everything, right? So that's how, sales has evolved. And it is no, kind of surprise that, with the advent of technology, sales has actually been impacted at every stage. I fundamentally believe that in any business, and specifically in any kind of online or software business, there are fundamentally only two roles, right? That we call dev and rev. So you're fundamentally either building or you're fundamentally either selling. And most of the intelligent entrepreneurs will either help you or use technology to help you build better, or help you use technology to sell better. And that's what we have seen as sales has evolved. And today we have reached a stage where, a lot of manual tasks can completely be replaced by AI agents. So that's the level of, I would say, finesse, sophistication, as well as depth that we have achieved via technology.
Yeah, I think that reference to yellow pages was really nostalgic. I mean, I remember the yellow pages being and the landline phones. They were the only means where you used to have sales coming in. You had no internet. In fact, sales goes long back, even before all of this, probably thousands of years. I mean, there always has been a system of record. One person writing down how much he sold for and whom he sold to, in some form or the other, right? Maybe in clay tablets and so on. So we have come a long way. I mean, in the internet era, there was Salesforce, which kind of took that system of record online, and people could collaborate upon it, just like Google Docs. Uh, However, in the last 20 years, whatever we have seen, in fact, is getting disrupted again using AI. So in fact, that whole system of record itself is getting automated. You don't need a human who is either writing with a pen or using a keyboard to type. You essentially have the whole process of uh, automation kicking in with AI coming, right?
Okay.
And
Thanks, guys, for setting the stage. Now we'll get into the potential of AI sales or what AI can do. And yeah, Strain, take it away.
so, in this slide, I think I would like to talk about how sales has actually taken over every the AI part of the sales has actually taken over every part of what existed essentially as software before, right, or a CRM before. So you have smart pipelines, which are kind of the the funnel's starting point, the sale funnel's starting point, right? So you can think of RB2B or Factors.ai, which is one of our customers, and a lot of people who have put a effort to make sure that your entire lead funnel is automated, right? So that's what smart pipelines mean. I mean, you have personalization at scale where instead of you typing in a email saying that, okay, hey Murli or hey Srini, why don't you come and see the demo of my product? And let's say Murli replies or Srini replies, you again have to follow up through a drip campaign. So all of these are things of the past with these technologies, because the LLMs and the generative AI which has come in has actually automated the hashtag, right? And think about how it impacts also stuff that you do after the conversation with your clients, like after the funnel has come to your meeting, and you had a meeting with your prospect. You are looking at coaching at a scale which was never seen before. You can have one-to-one personal tutors, sort of, which essentially looks very very trivial, but think about the impact it can have, because every person is like a student who can learn from their existing conversations with clients, right? So, and finally, there are all these digital workers which are helping you through each step. Not only they are helping you doing all the prospecting and the meetings well, they're helping you after the meeting, like I said, on the coaching, and looking at what accounts are the top ones and what accounts are the bottom ones. So I think Shini, please feel free to add points on this one.
No, wonderful points, Alok. And the best way I actually look at this slide is, if you look at any sale as a transaction, right? If that is the building block of any sale, then the way to, kind of look at this slide is, how can AI impact stuff before the transaction happens? How can AI impact stuff when the transaction is happening? And how can AI impact stuff after the transaction happens, right? So there are three clear paths here: before the transaction, during the transaction, and after the transaction. And for want of a better word, I would then replace transaction with conversations, because almost all sales happen via conversations, right? So before the conversation, during the conversation, and after the conversation. Smart pipelines are, wonderful example of how AI has helped you build a very, I would say, smart lead generation engine, you know, before your transaction happens. And Alok mentioned companies like Factors.ai are B2B. Now, what these companies do is, they help you refine the lead, that is coming onto your platform. And not only that, not only do they give you unique information about the lead, right, which goes beyond just telling you, which region the lead came from, but also telling you which company the lead could belong to, right? Some companies go to the extent of even telling you who the person was, right, who actually landed on your platform. That's one part of AI. But the other interesting part of AI that happens in smart pipelines is that once the lead comes, it gets auto qualified through an agent. So the agent decides whether the lead is an ideal customer for that company or not. And if it is an ideal customer for the company, it triggers a set of actions, which could be, email blasts, which could be maybe reach out over LinkedIn, which could be reach out through any other platform. So this whole process that you're looking at, right from the lead coming to your platform to you reaching out to the lead multiple times till the lead actually comes across and books a demo, is totally automated today through agents and through AI. Automation. This is one of my favorite topics, purely because it's close to my heart, as we do a lot of this automation in good meetings, right? Alok mentioned the use case of CRM, and I fundamentally believe that CRM, which acted as a system of records, will totally be redefined in AI age, purely because till date any CRM was a basic database that where you could perform simple CRUD operations, which is create, read, update, and delete, right? But now, with the advent of AI in sales, a lot of automation will take place where the CRMs would be appended. So first thing that would happen is all the CRM updates that you see, right, today are done manually by sales reps after the call gets over. They write manual notes which they transfer to the CRM. They also, kind of qualify the lead basis the conversations that they have had, right? All of that today is something that can happen after the conversation via an AI agent, and that's something that we also do, right? Basically, you can mine those conversations. You can actually, kind of decide whether the lead is a relevant lead or not, and you can push all the information of that particular conversation back to the CRM. The CRM gets autofilled, right? That is one great example of automation that we at Good Meetings do, saving a lot of time for the sales rep, ensuring 100% CRM hygiene, also ensuring that your CRM is accurately filled end to end, so that your sales managers and your sales leaders have a better grip on sales forecasts and on their sales pipeline. Enhancing personalization at scale. Again, this is something that happens before the conversation and during the conversation. AI can actually help you not only identify, right, who are the kind of people who are coming on your platform, help you build cohorts, but it also helps you, kind of personalize the outreach that you're doing at scale. So, for example, if myself, Murli, and Alok, we, kind of go to a particular website of a product, today with the use of AI, the information in the email that is sent to me can be very different from the information in the email sent to Murli or Alok, purely because the AI will understand that Shrini's predilections, Shrini's choices are different from Murli's choices beyond the point, which are different from Alok's choices beyond the point, right? Coaching is a great example, a wonderful example of, I would say, post transaction activity. Earlier, when AI wasn't present, then it was a very manual and tedious task to actually, kind of get all the information of all the conversations that are happening between sales reps and lead prospects, mine through that information, really understand the gaps for each sales rep, and then provide a customized, coaching module for every sales rep. That in itself was being handled by massive teams. Today, we are seeing those teams being wiped out and sales managers themselves doubling up as coaches, purely because a lot of these tedious activities around basically understanding how each sales rep is performing, how close each sales rep is coming to an ideal to pitching an ideal product, what are the gaps, all of these are getting automated today, which is basically ensuring that your entire audit teams are getting wiped out. Managers themselves are actually doing audit, and you're saving a ton of money for any organization. This is something that we do wonderfully well at goodmeetings.ai. So again, this is something that I can go on and on, but I'll move on to the next point. Insights on account health. Again, basis all the conversations that you're actually doing with the customer, whether it is on voice, whether it is on video, whether it is on chat. Today, you have AI agents that can actually, take all these data, ingest all this data, and then basically, depending upon your business, they can actually spit out the health of any account, how close is a particular lead towards conversion, whether a particular lead would convert or not, helping you actually double down on the leads which have a higher propensity to convert, and helping you ignore those leads which do not convert, right? Again, something that we do wonderfully well at goodmeetings.ai, and we'll show it to you in some time. All of this is done by AI, helping you improve your sales conversions and reducing your CAC, right? And all of this basically, at some point in time rolls up to become a digital worker, right? One place where we are seeing digital workers working really well is not just in updating the CRM, creating new opportunities, but also in initiating conversations, right? At least for one-way conversations that are happening on dialers, we have seen digital workers working really well, right? Of course, the system has probably not reached a stage where it can understand the conversations with the lead prospect really well, apart from some cases where you just have to kind of book a meeting with a lead prospect. So all of this basically, in fact, I would kind of, I believe that each of these items that you see here, you know with the use of AI, like AI based smart pipelines, AI based automation, AI based enhancement of personalization at scale, all of these are $1 billion opportunities waiting to be grabbed. So if there are aspiring entrepreneurs here who want to build a great SaaS product, using AI, I think these are great ideas that you can take off from this slide.
Yeah,
Great,
let's.
great. I mean, we'll just take a couple of questions here.
Sure.
So Vinny Jain is asking, able to see the question on the screen? So would you be able to share the recording? Yes, Vineet will be able to share the recording. And Kavish is also saying recording is easier to share. Thank you. So let's move on to the next slide. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think that,
Srini, you want to talk this?
yeah, what AI can't replace. I think this is a very interesting and counterintuitive slide. And both me and Alok really wanted this slide to be, kind of included as part of the entire, kind of webinar that we are doing, because it's not all AI, right? There are certain things that, AI can't replace, right? Uh, One big example of what AI can't replace is human trust, and the level of trust involved in actually kind of freezing and locking in larger transactions is much higher as compared to the level of trust involved in basically kind of locking in smaller transactions. So for high value deals, I think you still need human in the loop. You still need to know who the buyer still needs to know who the person the buyer is interacting with before actually doing a sale. And that is why you would see that a lot of high value transactions today basically still involve in person meetings. Maybe all the meetings may not be in person, but there are few meetings, either the first few meetings or the last few meetings are always in person. So trust is something that you can't assign to a machine today, and that will always remain, right? So I don't think AI can replace that. Emotional intelligence, right? Again, very important, right? I'm sure there are a lot of senior sales guys here who have done high value transactions. And you know that when you're doing high value transactions, it is important to basically really understand the motivations of the buyers at the other end. What exactly intrinsically is motivating them to use the product? What are their pain points? And even second guess them to kind of be able to be on top of negotiations. Now these are stuff that an AI can't do today. At best, what an AI can do is basically pick up repetitive tasks with some level of intelligence and automate it. But the moment there are human emotions involved, there is second guessing involved, when you have to connect the dots, when you have to think on your feet, I don't think an AI is trained to achieve that today. Finally, strategic thinking. I fundamentally believe that there are two eyes in this world that will be the last things to be replaced by AI, and those are intuition and instinct. I mean, those are things that you actually build as a human over the years, right? Intuition and instinct are stuff that AI can't replace. The AI can replace intelligent stuff, it can't replace intuition and instinct. And it requires a lot of intuition and instinct when you're doing high value sales, right? At every stage of the discussion. And I fundamentally believe that these are three things that AI will not be able to replace. You still need to have human in the loop.
Yeah. I like the last part, Srini, where you said intuition and instinct. That really sums it up. Enterprise software or enterprise sales in general needs selling. It needs humans. I think there's a question also from Rachin, which is touching on the same subject, where he's asking whether when there are humans in sales who land far better clients than automation of email blasts and LinkedIn reach outs. So yes, Rachin, I think there are cases where it works well, but when you look at it compounding over time, the sales which happens through an AI agent today is obviously far far inferior compared to a human. So that is in fact reinforcing what the slide says. So one of the reason is there is a there is a training that has been put in to the AI agent to respond to email messages or LinkedIn reach outs in a very automated fashion. It looks kind of mechanical. So let's say I can type a one word answer out of instinct, but the AI won't. It generally won't. So these are some of the things that I would say will
Okay, we have
never be
another
possible.
question here. I just put up on the screen.
Yes. Pain points of a customer can be judged by AI if asked the right questions. So Love Narwar asked this question, and I can tell you that, there are two parts to this answer. If you have a scripted, kind of set of questions, and the kind of questions to ask the customer to extract the pain points, then definitely yes, that can be judged by AI. But as I told you, if you look at the point number two here, emotional intelligence, sometimes when you're doing consultative sales, right, and not direct transactional sales, then you really need to understand why the customer is trying to use your product. You need to second guess the motivation of the customer. Not everything will be told to you explicitly. In those cases, I don't think AI has evolved to a stage where you can actually understand the subliminal, kind of motivations of the customer. Yes, if the questions are pretty straightforward and your expected answers are straightforward to understand the pain points, then definitely, AI can be used. I'll give you two examples, love, to kind of uh, explain what I'm trying to tell you. Take the example of kind of high volume sales where people are selling a commodity. Like, let's say they are selling a credit card, or let's say they are selling an insurance. That they have scripted questions to qualify the customer and understand the customer's pain point, because you have cookie cutter products that you have to sell. In those cases, you can definitely replace a sales rep with an AI. But let's take the example of let's a B2B SaaS sale, right, where you're selling a software, or even selling of a kind of a IT services project, right? In those cases, the requirements are fairly complex, right? And you really need to second guess and really understand the inner motivations of the client. In those cases, I don't think AI has evolved yet to be replaced by a human, or I mean, a human
Yeah,
to be replaced by AI. Sorry.
yeah. So
Okay,
there,
great, great.
I
Oh,
have a thought. I mean, if you look at today's AI, as Srini rightly pointed out, they're very good at generally getting answers to questions where it is scripted. Uh, but take an example of a B2C companies where it's helping with something more complex. Like, I got this shoe, it didn't fit. Recommend some better styles to me, or something of that sort. Even some, that is too complex for the AI today. I'm sure it will be solved within the next few years, but as of today, the use cases that are currently working, that we have seen in the real world, are typically getting answers to questions which are very straightforward.
okay, great, great. We're a little behind in time, but I think it's fine since there's a lot of interest from the users as well. So moving on to the next slide, we'll go after the real world applications of AI in sales. This is just an overview. We'll cover all of these. I mean, we have some cool visuals as well and pretty good screenshots that will show you some behind the screens of what is actually happening. So yeah, please continue.
So this slide pretty much is a summary of what all we have been seeing in the real world with good meetings and with this whole industry in general, the AI and sales industry, so to say. So typically, personalization of emails are something that everyone knows. We are doing data enrichment at a scale that was never seen before. We are collecting data from probably every data source possible, and the CRM. I mean, whenever you talk to the person, you already know enough of their background to actually make a small talk, right? So that data enrichment is very, very important. Data enrichment that helps you do a complex sale better, right? And of course, after the meeting, one of the first things that Good Meeting started with was call summaries and call reports. Earlier, we used to have pretty much automated summaries, and today it's possible to have fully customizable reports which are tuned to your own sales process, right? Your own company's sales process. So the minutes and notes, action item, in fact, even the reels and the moments that you make out of them are customizable. So that is pretty much the state of the art today. And if you're not using it in your sales process, I would highly recommend you try it out, because this is an very good low hanging fruit where you can get immediate value out of. Yeah, I think Srini, if you can take up the other points, or you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think as Alok rightly mentioned, data enrichment for contacts and accounts. So we've had AI agents who, kind of give you a lot of data of the kind of leads that are coming to your website, something that I mentioned earlier too. And this was not possible pre-Gen AI age. So today, I have had people coming and pitching me solutions where they tell me that we will not only tell you the company from which a particular lead landed on a website, we can also tell you the name of the person, right? And not only the name of the person, we will actually give you a solution where the outreach can happen in such a way that we know what that person likes and dislikes, and there will be that level of personalization in the outreach, which is mind boggling actually, right? I'm not even sure if uh, whether it is basically kind of violating the rules of personalization or not. That's a different discussion on ethical AI, but that's where the kind of a level of AI has reached today, right? Automating relevant responses, personalization of emails, data enrichment. We've spoken about it earlier also, right? Where all of this can be automated, right? And to a point where Rachin Dalal mentioned, do you think AI can circumvent the entire human-based lead generation process, where where there is a human in sales and lands clients far better than automation of email blasts, LinkedIn reach outs, etc.? Definitely, Rachin, that is happening today. A lot of companies are basically removing the human in the loop in this part of the process, right? uh, they have achieved fair level of success. I would say they still have human in the loop, but we are not very far away from a situation where this whole thing will be automated and you will not require a human in the loop, right? The second half of this slide, is something that's again very close to my heart, because these are things that Alok, I, and the entire Good Meetings team have done wonderfully well. Now it is very easy to automate notes, automate summary, and basically get the exact kind of reports that you want from your sales conversations, right? You can, at least with Good Meetings, you can actually have your own kind of minutes of the meeting, where you decide your template, and we actually extract the relevant information from those conversations and fill it into a template. What this helps you do is extract relevant information from your sales conversations. You don't have to go through that entire 1 hour sales conversations. The MOMs basically, which are tailored to your requirement, which extract the required information as per your requirement, helps you be on top of every call, every conversation, in just like less than a minute, right? So it leads to massive efficiency, right? The same goes for action items from the call. In fact, we have gone to a level where with certain CRMs, we have actually automated the action items, in the sense that we have actually indicated with the CRM, created tickets out of it, and assigned it to people. Filling relevant data into the CRM, I've always told that sales reps might differ in the way they sell the product, but all of them actually unite in one thing. All of them unite on the fact that they hate filling the CRM. And today, with applications like Good Meetings, your CRM gets updated automatically after a call gets over. Your sales rep doesn't have to, kind of go and manually update the CRM, right? What this does is three things. One, ensures 100% CRM hygiene, which results in a greater grip on your sales process and your sales forecasts. Second, it ensures that your CRM is not prone to manual error. Third, it ensures that your CRM is not prone to sales bias, because I know all the sales managers and leaders here will understand that basis whatever the sales rep has entered, if you start doing your projections, you will probably be kind of, you will be thinking that you will overshoot your kind of month end metrics or quarter end metrics, but at the end of the day you will see that you have never kind of reached those metrics, purely because there was a lot of manual bias. So all of that is taken care of by AI today. Good Meetings is a great example of kind of automating your CRM. AI SDRs, as I told you, is the next best big thing that is happening, where at least for phone calls, for dialer based calls, which are one way, where you don't expect a lot of responses from clients, we have seen, use cases where for collections or for reminders, AI SDRs are being used. So, yeah, these are some really good real world applications of AI.
Okay, thank you, Alok and Srini. We'll take a look at some of the screens or how it will actually look in our products, including Good Meetings, how some of these applications would actually look. Yeah, well, let's start with this one.
Yeah, here actually, we have kind of broken down the various tasks that AI agents or AI can do, today, especially after a sales transaction or after a sales call, right? So an AI can give you all the summaries and action items with almost 100% accuracy, right? It can give you almost human level transcripts, right? It can give you client reports. And by client report, what I mean is a lead level report. So today, if you go to a CRM, basically, if there are 3 or 4 conversations that you have had with a particular lead, you really don't know what is happening with that lead, because it's a very, very tedious and fairly complicated task to mine through all that conversation and give you the gist and tell you whether that lead would convert or not. This was the problem, pre AI, pre Gen AI era. Today, thanks to the technologies that have been built, including the ones that we have built, we are able to give you a lead level report where we can tell you, given all the conversations that have happened with that particular lead at that point in time, what is the propensity that the lead would convert, why it would convert, why it would not convert, which also tells you how well your sales rep has actually performed right? And which feeds into the pitch report that I'm talking about, which tells you how well your sales rep has performed, how close was the sales rep to an ideal sales call, what were the gaps, and how the gaps could be filled. And this pitch report goes beyond just NLP, right? Pre-Gen AI age, it would be NLP where you would just match the keywords of the, and say whether the sales rep spoke those keywords or not. Today, it is basically, almost human level evaluation that happens. So you can actually test how good was the sales persuasion skills of the sales rep, how good was objection handling of the sales rep, how good was closing of the call by the sales rep. So a lot of these softer aspects that could only be tested by humans earlier today is being kind of automated through AI. The same goes for meeting report, which is basically you can get a templatized MOM basis your kind of requirement. This is and then autofill is what we had described, autofilling of your CRM. This is a great example. We are just sharing some screenshots from our own product so that you can actually understand the kind of stuff that AI can do in sales. Like you can look at this call, and this is one of the calls we've had with one of our customers, where the sales probability score is just 40%, right? And therefore it's on the red, and it clearly tells you why it is 40%, where the client is unhappy or the prospective client is unhappy, and where are the areas of improvement, right? So you can easily visualize your client interactions with timeline graphs. You can easily see how your client or your prospective client has reacted to the sales reps questions, to the sales reps pitch, and whether this client would actually convert or not. And this is as close to reality as it can get thanks to the AI we have today.
Okay,
In
Varun
fact,
has a
this
question. I'm just putting it up on the screen.
okay.
This is from
Yeah.
Varun.
What about the AI summarization and assignment of tasks? Is that all trustworthy now? Yes, Varun, I think this is a wonderful question because even probably GPT 3.5 2023 starting, this wasn't that great. And over a period of time, we have worked along with the LLMs and fine tuned them. And not just us, I think the whole industry has moved ahead. And today, people can depend on it, and it is at a human level accuracy. So if a human can do it and assign a certain task, the AI can do it at the same accuracy, if not better. So yeah, I mean, at least this part I can be very certain that it it works. I mean, we use it every day.
Okay, okay. You want to touch
Again,
on this, screen?
this is the pitch
Please go
score
on.
that we were talking about, right? Basically this tells you how close the pitch of a sales professional came to an ideal sales pitch, right? uh, and the AI has evolved to an extent where you can decide the parameters on which you want to measure the performance of a sales rep. And these parameters could be kind of qualitative parameters, like you can see how good was call opening, how good was the enunciation of objective of the call, right? How good was closing of the call, how good was the sales persuasion skills of the sales rep. These are all qualitative parameters which were very tough to measure earlier, right? uh, and they go beyond just what was spoken during the call, right? They take a lot of qualitative parameters like the tone of the sales rep, the tone of the the lead prospect, the mood of the lead prospect, all of that into account, and gives you a clear 360-degree view of how well your sales rep performed. Like for example, here the sales rep really underperformed, and that could be one reason why your sales is not happening. So you can then actually see what the areas of improvement are, which again are given to you on a platter, and you can train your sales rep. Again, goes back to the whole coaching point that we spoke about earlier in one of the slides, and how AI can help kind of automate the whole coaching aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, we
One
have
of
a
the
question
questions.
from Love. I'm just putting it up on screen. Yes.
Yeah. Can we get a summary of multiple calls and come to a conclusion of the right set of questions to be asked and understanding what the customer wants so that we can make our calls better? So that's actually the coaching use case in this particular screen itself. In fact, if you see in this, we are measuring 4 meetings with the customer. This is actual data. And you can look at the summary of all these calls as a score, right? And in each of these sections, you are getting kind of a coaching. And if you click on it, it even tells you which point of the call where you went wrong, and you can improve on those aspects, right? So as a salesperson or a sales leader, you can look at these regularly, and you can expect that At least the way I see it, there are two parts. One is what you input into the system, which is your pitch, and what you get out of the system is your client score, which is the sentiment of the client that you have as a result of your pitch. So yes, I mean, if your input metrics become better over a period of time, your client sentiments you will see will immediately. We have seen at least 30 to 40% improvement as soon as you start tracking these metrics. Can we move to the next one, Molly?
By the way, these are all screenshots from our own product and how we have used AI to, kind of magnify sales purely because we feel that, if we are talking about something, we better be, some sort of experts there. That's the main reason. Again, autofill is one of my favorite features. This basically ensures that you can ask specific questions, or you can post specific questions that whose answers you want to be filled in the CRM. Typical use cases when you're trying to kind of qualify a customer, right? Now, pre AI age, what would happen is a sales rep would actually qualify the customer, take notes in a diary or on his laptop, and then go and fill all this information back into the CRM, and he or she had to do that. Otherwise, basically, kind of the movement of the lead would be blocked, right? Or he or she would be penalized. Now, this is an absolute mundane task, right? Full of drudgery. Today, this whole thing, thanks to good meetings and a couple of other products, we are able to automate it. You decide what questions you want, and this is an example of one of the top edtech firms which uses good meetings, where they are trying to qualify the prospective learner to whom they are trying to sell a product, right? So they want to know whether the learner is has passed a certain level with regards to an examination or not. What is the learner's preferred language for learning? Which region the learner belongs to, right? How many examination attempts the learner has given, etc., etc., right? All of that, if it is mentioned, the conversation gets captured. They get filled in as answers to specific questions that the edtech company has provided, and all that information then gets pushed to the CRM. Excuse me. So they don't have to rely on their sales rep. They are free of human bias. They are free of manual error. There is 100% CRM hygiene, and this helps them have a better control on their sales processes and their sales forecasts.
Yeah, and if you can imagine this question for a SaaS company, it will probably be discovery questions. What is the size of your team? Probably how many seats you're looking for, and so on. If you can think of yourself as um, as probably in insurance company, you will probably have another set of questions, and all of these get autofilled, zero human intervention. So I see one question on the screen.
So
Isn't
there are
that
two
almost like?
questions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
One is a quick question. Are you saying that these are probing questions that get autofilled? You're right. One of the LinkedIn users asked. These are qualitative, sharp questions, which have very, specific answers, and they get autofilled. Before that, there was another user who asked, "Isn't that almost like AI giving instinct-based qualitative answers of calls interactions?" Not exactly, because if you look at this slide, these are very, very pointed questions which have pointed answers, right? And the AI is basically picking those answers from the conversations, helping you qualify that lead, and make, kind of pushing the details back to the CRM. Alok, over to you.
Yeah, I think you think of an edtech use case where you want to recommend a certain program, you would need to ask these questions. And I think there is a further question here. In that case, it's again human dependent. So yes, I mean there is a human in the loop because finally the conversation is being done with a human. The sales tool is the AI. Think of it that way, where you're not having to write down those questions. You are not having to type it down. You are getting it on a platter, and you can just decide. And even it recommends at the end of it. It does recommend after this autofill on what programs that you can recommend to this customer. So you don't have to think. I mean, rather you would have to refer an Excel sheet on, okay, if these are the set of discovery questions, what should I pitch next, right? So yeah, so this can work even during the call. So there are a lot of use cases
Okay.
on how it may be human independent.
We also
So
get the talk to listen ratio. You also get the longest monologue. All of this is AI driven. That helps you really understand how your sales rep performed, how much the sales rep listened versus how much the sales rep actually spoke, right? All of this meeting info you get with the click of a button. This is the meeting report. And as I had told you, again, AI can actually, kind of build customized reports for you. So if you know what you want to extract from a call, right? What are the different questions you want to get answered from a call? Then the AI will ensure that it basically mines that conversation and fills your fills the different, kind of questions that you want to answer, or questions that you want to get answered from the call, or points that you want to get filled from a call. All of that can be done. For example, here in this report, after every call, I mean, we personally use this ourselves. As they say, we dog food ourselves. So after every sales call, we want to know what were the queries put forward by the client, right? What are the next steps? What were the challenges and pain points that our client actually, kind of spoke about, right? What are the objections that were raised by the client? What were the client concerns? So basically, the AI ensures that it basically is able to, kind of understand everything and push everything here, and we just have to glean through this meeting report. Don't have to go through the entire hour long call. Plus, there are added reports that we have built where all the client problems over the last few days or the last few weeks, or all the queries put forward over the last few days or last few weeks, are collated together. So that helps us build a pattern, and especially helps us building a better product where we are really, listening to our customers and not missing out on anything.
Okay, guys.
And again, this is just an example. You can tailor this as per your need.
Okay. Okay, so we are kind of way over time, but we'll quickly go over the next session as well, where we cover some of the case studies of,
Yeah.
yeah, there are some things that are overlapping, so maybe we can quickly kind of skim through it.
Yeah, I think, it is like a summary of whatever we have discussed till now. If you ask me how AI is being currently used in the sales process, we can clearly look at three use cases. The first use case is audit and coaching, right? Now, we've had, we've worked with some of the top edtech and fintech firms in India and abroad, right? And most of these companies that have huge sales reps, or kind of massive, kind of sales teams, they also have audit teams. So for every five, six, seven sales reps, there is one audit guy who earlier used to listen to the call, kind of take feedback of the sales rep and then pass on that feedback to the sales rep. Very, very manual. And therefore that audit guy unfortunately was able to cover only 3 or 4% of the calls, and everything was extrapolated from that. Today, thanks to AI, this entire thing, and there's one of the top use cases of good meetings, this entire thing basically is taken care of. So instead of 4% or 3% of the call, 100% of the calls get audited at almost 100% efficiency. So the audit guy doesn't have to waste his time listening to the calls. He directly gets the report that he or she can actually share with the sales rep for his improvement, for his coaching and stuff. Massive, kind of saving of time as well as resources. Automation, I think we've spoken about this enough now. I mean, with kind of solutions like good meetings today that use AI, you can actually get your entire CRM automated with all the information with 100% accuracy. Save the time of your sales rep, remove that burden from the sales rep, so that the sales rep can use that time to actually cover more leads, to do more calls, right? And finally, conversion, right? Now, till date, no CRM was able to help you with conversions. At best, a CRM has been a data entry, kind of repository. But with AI based solutions that are acting as a layer on top of CRMs, we are able to mine those conversations, tell you how well those conversations went, stitch all those conversations together per lead, and also tell you whether that lead would convert or not basis those conversations. All of that today is basically possible via AI with almost 100% accuracy.
Okay. Like, you want to add on something to this, or should I go to the next
Absolutely.
slides?
Yeah, I think on the conversion bit, we talked about our. Hope I'm audible. On the conversion bit, there are obviously a lot of tools out there, but at the minimum, if you just measure how many of your leads are hot versus top leads, and top prospects. So that way your deal cycles are reduced and hence the conversion is also higher. It is like close to 90 to 95% accurate.
I'll just take over from what Alok said because he dropped off. Fundamentally, like an audit, earlier you used to audit only 3 to 4% of the calls. Today you are able to audit almost 100% of the calls, right? Thanks to AI. Similarly, I mean, these are some AI reports that we have shown you just to so that you can get a gist of the, of how this works. Maybe you can move to the next slide, Murli. Automation, as I told you, you can today almost audit, automate everything that a sales rep otherwise would do manually in the CRM, which improves the efficiency of your team by almost 40%, right? And cuts your onboarding time by 50%. Next slide, Murli, if possible. Conversion, right? I mean, this is what Alok was talking about when he unfortunately dropped off. Today, for the first time in the history of sales, you are able to really understand whether a particular lead or a deal would convert or not, because there is AI that can actually, kind of mine those conversations and tell you, what is the overall score basis all those conversations, right? And whether that deal would, and therefore, what is the probability that that deal would convert. We've seen companies increase their sales conversions from 15% to 26% and therefore improve their entire funnel efficiency, right? And there are companies which specifically wanted to improve their referral revenue through sales pitching, coaching, and stuff. They have increased the referral revenue from 17% to 28%. So these are all real numbers of companies which have seen actually a great uptake, in the sales process because they have embraced AI.
Okay.
Yes.
Alok, do you want to add on anything to any of these reports and visuals before we move to the next session?
Yeah, I just want to add one data point. Earlier the predictions of these lead scores, which were available in CRMs, it is not something new, but these accuracies were very poor. I mean, it today is 90 to 95% accurate, which is a big deal because today you are able to predict your entire deal cycle 90 to 95% with 90 to 95% accuracy. That's exactly what you need from something like this so that your conversions are higher, so you reduce your deal cycle effectively.
Okay, great. So we're getting to the close now. Let's just talk about the future of what we can expect when it comes to AI in sales and what it means for salespeople. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah.
I think, as the top of the slide mentions, it is actually humans plus AI, right? Um for absolute, I would say, grunt work and absolute repetitive task, yes, there is AI. But other than that, I mean, you still would have human in the loop in the near future. And therefore, AI will act as a wonderful efficiency enhancement tool and not exactly an end-to-end replacement for wherever, the tasks become fairly complex, right? And from focusing on low value tasks which will get automated and which will be the lowest hanging fruit that AI will consume, I think slowly the focus will move to high value tasks, right? I think someone in the chat itself mentioned that we are not far away from a situation where each of one will have our own personal bots which would join the meeting. They would interact with each other, and basis the discussions we would get a recommendation whether we should actually have a call with the person at the other end or not. That's not very far away, right? That is a good example of focus on high value tasks. And if you look at, I think, sales, that high value task would be consultative sales, where you're not just blurting out a script, right? We are still some time away from that, but not very far away, right? If you ask me the prediction for the next 5 to 10 years, I think a lot of intelligent sales tasks would be taken up by AI end to end. We are seeing this with uh, at least phone calls, where one-way phone calls where you have to inform the lead prospect about something, like maybe give him a reminder or basically let him know about some information, is completely done by AI. Slowly that is moving to two-way conversation, where basic qualification today to just set up a meeting is also done by an AI SDR. Very soon we will move to a state where complex discussions will happen between a bot at one end and a lead prospect at the other end, or maybe a bot at one end and a bot representing the lead prospect at the other end. And all of that will then translate to actually a live demo of a product being done by bots, right? Before humans actually join. So I think all of this is going to happen, uh, but it's a matter of time. But I do feel that it is some time away, right? We still are in a human in the loop phase for most of the intelligent tasks that are there for sales.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I think the predictions, I mean, being Nostradamus is obviously great. We generally want to look at a brighter future. But people underestimate the AI capabilities during this boom because there is an exponential growth bias because AI compounds in an exponential graph. And I have seen this firsthand in the development side of things. My entire team, has started writing 90% less code than before, at least on the development side. And I see similar things happening on the sales side in the future, where within the next 5 years, we are definitely going to see much more of the AI coming in, and we will be in a world where human beings are just doing the not any of the mundane tasks. They are doing most of the high value tasks where they're building their network, they're building their trust, they're building relations which actually matter, and letting all the other tasks get done by AI.
In fact, I
Okay.
have a wonderful quote by Lenin to probably end the session. And he quoted, and I think it's true for any technological wave that has come. Uh, and his quote says that there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. I think with this wave of AI, we are looking at weeks where decades will happen.
Okay, thank you both. With that, we'll move on to the Q&A session. It was supposed to be at the end, but I think we took a lot of questions in between. For some of those listeners who are on StreamYard have posted some questions, and Shreya from our team has posted them on LinkedIn. So I just bring up one of the questions here.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think if you are not embracing AI today, you've already lost the race, right? And if you look at sales platforms like Salesforce, in fact, in that flagship event that happened earlier this year in September, the entire theme was just Agent Force, right? And if you follow Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce, on LinkedIn and on Twitter, you can see how bullish he is about this AI wave, to the extent that he says that Microsoft's Copilot is actually, kind of very, very basic, right? So every CRM, be it or every sales platform, be it Salesforce, be it HubSpot, is embracing it at some level or the other, right? And they know that if they don't do that, then they are basically, kind of, they are going to lose the race uh, at the drop of a hat.
In fact, Dharmesh Shah, the CEO of HubSpot, he has gotten back into building a mode because he's transforming HubSpot the same way Mark Benioff did for Salesforce. So yeah, I mean, if you are not adopting, you are at the risk of becoming obsolete.
Yeah, let me post another question.
With AI handling more tasks, do you foresee job losses, or will Salesforce simply evolve to accommodate AI? I think this is true for any technological wave that has hit us, right? And if you look at human evolution, right from the time printing press came to the time when there was, or let's say when there was sliced bread, and then there was the whole printing revolution, then there was industrial revolution. Every epoch in history where technology actually increased the efficiency of people manifold, this question came up saying that would people lose their jobs? And the answer has always been that people don't lose their jobs. People upskill themselves, they do far more intelligent stuff, they evolve as human beings, and the entire race improves. And I don't think uh, the Gen AI wave is any different.
Okay, I think Love wants to connect with someone from our team. We'll be happy to reach out to you, Love.
Absolutely, love. Would be happy to kind of reach out to you. Uh, you can actually email me. My email ID is Srinivasan SRINIVASAN at goodmeetings.ai. Alok's email ID is far simpler, 4 letters, ALOK at goodmeetings.ai. Uh, and happy to kind of chat with you and share more of our learnings here.
Okay, I have just a few more. I think we're almost there. With so many AI tools flooding the market, how do you stand out in a crowded Me Too environment?
That's an excellent question. I think, you know, with so many AI tools flooding the market, one of the best ways to stand out is to purpose build for a certain vertical, right? Uh, Now, this is true for any, crowded market. The moment a market gets crowded, horizontal solutions basically, fail to satisfy the needs of specific cohorts, right? So the best way to stand out is you pick one vertical and you do really, really well for that particular vertical. Take the example of AI agents, right? Or AI agents in sales. We will actually look at a situation where you will have AI agents doing all the tasks. So they will be like horizontal players. And then very soon, what we would see is you'll have AI agents specifically built for certain verticals. So you'll have AI agents for the finance vertical, where they do a kick-ass job of automating your financial tasks, where they do a kick-ass job of kind of calling you for collections. And then you will probably have a AI agent for a tech vertical, where the workflows are different from fintech, where the needs are different, where the reach outs are different, the kind of people you're talking to are different, right? So those nuances come in. So the best way to stand out is to purpose build for a certain vertical, because beyond the point, no horizontal platform is will be able to do justice at the same level of depth as a vertical platform can do. So that, I think, would be a wonderful way to stand out.
I think to add some color to this, definitely there is a flood of AI tools. Recently, I was seeing some 400 plus agents are out there. But if you look at and deep dive on each of them, you will see AI agents for real estate who are integrating all the MLS tools, who are integrating the entire stack, right? Which are end to end. So end to end is the key to success in this market.
Okay, great, great. We have one more question here. When every sales team uses AI to personalize outreach, doesn't it lose its competitive advantage? How do you stand out in that case? And everybody is
as
using
i
AI tools. Yeah.
as I told you, right, that's where depth would matter, right? So, what kind of personalization are you doing for which kind of candidate, right? So, there would be a horizontal level of personalization where maybe, let's take my example. If somebody wants to personalize for me, they would get some specific information about me online, and all the AI tools have that level of personalization, right? Then the only way to differentiate is how deep can you go within me, right? Or the kind of cohort that I belong to. So you will have to go after specific cohort. That's one way of differentiation. The second way of differentiation is, as Alok rightly pointed out, that what else are you doing apart from outreach? Are you able to kind of become like a full stack player, where you're not only doing outreach and enrichment, but also updating the CRM and managing the entire workflow, right? So there are two ways you can differentiate. One is vertical depth wise. Second is going really deep and kind of owning the entire workflow.
Okay. There's one more question. Alok, do you want to add to that or just move to the next question?
No, I think it is extension.
Okay. This is last question here. Both buyers and sellers rely on AI. Are we heading towards a future where bots talk to bots, and where does that leave human interaction?
Yeah, uh, I think that future is not pretty far, where bots talk to bots. Maybe 5 years, years, who knows how fast. But once it comes, I mean, it will be as good as when we had a world where we didn't have a mobile phone, right? At that time, it would have seemed very odd that no one is meeting. In person, and they are talking remotely. So that would have been a far too I mean, the imagination had to be stretched too far to believe that. But this one, I think, is pretty near. I mean, we will have human interaction. There is finally going to be a human talking to a human, but the qualification is not done. There is no wastage of time. We are very, very efficient. So first the bots talk, then we talk.
I think to add to what Alok said, I'll
Yeah.
go back to the slide. I'll go back to the slide where we mentioned, when I mentioned intuition, instinct, and emotional intelligence, right? Now, those are things that, bots will not be able to decipher. So we may be in a situation where first level of discussion, which maybe doesn't require instinct, maybe doesn't require intuition, and is just a basic level of interaction can be done via bots. But beyond a point, your human instinct and your human interaction, human intuition will have to kick in, and that will happen subsequently where humans will be involved.
Okay, great. I remember there was a meeting where there was hardly any attendees. Everybody had sent in their bots to attend so that we can catch up later.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a reality that is staring at us. It's just a matter of time before it becomes mainstream. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the gifts that AI gives us in the upcoming year is, bots talking to bots becoming, being normalized.
yeah. Everybody has their own assistant. Okay, thanks for
Absolutely.
everyone. We'll be sending in the recording and then we'll be following up post the webinar as well to your email. And for some of these people who wanted to maybe have a further conversation, we'll reach out to them as well. Thank you. Thanks, Srini. Thanks, hello.
Thanks,
Thank you very
everyone.
much.
Thanks, Murli. Thanks, Alok. Cheers.